Sublimation is becoming more and more popular, but what is sublimation? If you're new to my channel, my name is Leslie. My channel is all about crafting on a budget. I do Cricut, sublimation, and kid craft videos. So if any of those things interest you, please consider subscribing and joining my YouTube family. So what is sublimation? I wanted to make this video for beginners who don't necessarily, or people who are just curious to know what sublimation is. Sublimation is the process where we transfer a design onto a substrate using a special ink and heat. Sublimation allows us to do full bleed designs on t-shirts and garments. It allows us to do a design from seam to seam on a shirt. You're not limited to a specific size design for a shirt. So how does sublimation work? When heat is applied to the ink becomes a gas without going into the liquid stage. And then it infuses into the substrate that you are pressing it onto. So unlike heat transfer vinyl, sublimation is permanent. It will not crack or peel off like heat transfer vinyl will. The process of sublimation is you print onto special sublimation paper. Some people do use copy paper to do so instead of paying extra and buying sublimation paper. And then once you print, you mirror the image when you print, and you print using special sublimation ink. And then you use a combination of heat and pressure to infuse that ink onto the substrate. What are the pros of sublimation? Sublimation has many pros and cons, but the pros are that it is permanent, unlike HTV, and like I said before, it doesn't crack or peel off. You have more freedom with your designs. With HTV, you're kind of limited to the type of design you can do because you have to, you know, each layer is going to be a different color. Same thing with screen printing. And with HTV, you can only layer a certain amount of colors on top of each other. With sublimation, you're not limited. It does last way longer than HTV on the shirt. It is permanent on the substrate, on the shirt, and it will not fade as you wash it. It is less likely to fade as you wash it. What's also really cool about sublimation is that you are not as limited as with HTV. HTV, there's certain substrates that you can press it onto, but with sublimation there are sublimation mugs, photo panels, there's canvases that you can press onto, there's pens, there's tumblers, there's rock slates, and the list goes on and on. There's so many different things that you can press and do sublimation with, whereas HTV, you're very limited. And with sublimation, the detail in your images are going to be more intricate than with screen printing or with HTV. So what are the cons? Because everything has pros and cons. It's not just, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. There are going to be cons, right? So what are the cons of sublimation? The biggest con with sublimation is that you can only do sublimation on synthetic materials, so polyester materials. So you can't sublimate on cotton. You can only sublimate on like polyester, spandex, things like that that are more man-made. You can technically sublimate on cotton, but the image will not be vibrant, and as you wash the shirt, it will just fade and fade and fade more and more. It's not permanent like if it was on a polyester shirt. Another kind of downside to sublimation is that you have to be careful and pay attention to every detail as you're doing it. Because like if you've watched my previous videos on sublimation, or if you have not, go check them out, lint turns to blue, so you got to make sure you're using a lint roller on all your substrates. You have to make sure that you're making sure that the surface is flat and there's no creases, because what happens is when you press it, those creases are going to stay white. They're not going to get the dye at all. And once you do sublimation, you can't undo it. Whereas HTV, once you do HTV and you find a mistake, you can actually apply heat and take off that HTV, or they have some liquids that you can spray on it and it'll come right off. You can't do that with sublimation. That's it. It's done. You ruined the substrate. Another thing with sublimation is that sublimation does not print white. If you notice, a lot of sublimation blanks are white. And that just allows for your colors to pop more because sublimation ink is transparent. And when you add that white background to your sublimation, it makes them pop more. But if you have white in your design and you print it and then you sub it onto something that's not white, that white spaces in your design are going to turn into whatever color is your substrate. Is sublimation dishwasher and microwave safe? Yes, sublimation is microwave safe. It is dishwasher safe. So there are pros and cons to sublimation. There are amazing things about it and downsides to it. Just like everything else, when we look at the bigger picture, there are so many more possibilities with sublimation than they are with HTV, screen printing, and direct to garment printing. So I would definitely recommend you guys to try out sublimation. I think it's amazing. It's just such a cool thing to me. And once you start sublimation, anybody can tell you that you are going to be hooked on sublimation. So please check out my sublimation playlist. I'll have it linked up above. I have lots of sublimation videos and there will be more to come in the following months. So please go check that out. Please comment down below and let me know any other videos you want to see on my channel. I want to be putting out content that you guys want to see. If you don't have any recommendations, still comment down below. I love to interact with you guys. I love seeing your comments and messaging you. I love when you guys message me on Instagram and my social medias. Those are always linked down below. And check out the links down below if you want to get started with sublimation. I'll have all of the things you'll need in order to get started with sublimation linked down below.